While I was at the Mid-Atlantic Turners Expo, I got a chance to hang out with Kate and Savannah from Bullseye Turning. And before I left, Kate gave me this incredible blank, and she gave me another of their awesome hobby knife kits. Now, you've seen me turn the hobby knife before. The one I originally turned is in my bespoke turning toolbox, and I use it all the time with making bespoke pins, but I also find that I'm constantly going to my toolbox and pulling the knife out to use for other tasks in the shop. So I'm super excited to have a second knife, and I can't wait to get it turned and put it into service. But what I really want to do is focus on this blank. Now, Kate's sister Savannah is the mixologist, and that is a great term for her because when she makes these blanks, and they are incredible, I've turned them before, they're wonderful to turn, but when she makes these blanks, she looks at the colors and she hears music, and that's the way she names them. This song made her think of Hot Blooded by Foreigner, and that's how the blank got its name, Hot Blooded. So I think it'd be pretty cool. Why don't you jump over to their website, check out all of their awesome custom blanks, and see if they've got one that is named after maybe a favorite song of yours. And see if it also speaks to you. I mean, when you look at this, Hot Blooded pretty well sums it up. So I will put a link in the description to Bullseye Turning. And if you do go over and check anything out at their website, please let them know you heard about them from RJB Woodturner. I'm going to start by marking the tube against the blank. And you can see I left about a 1/16 of an inch there. I'm going to go to the back side of the blank, and we're going to put a mark just about a 1/16 of an inch past the tube. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to lay the tube against my bit, and I've got a piece of painter's tape. I'll make sure the bit extends just past the end of the tube, and then I'm going to put a piece of painter's tape on the bit. Now what this does is I do not like to cut my blanks. I like to drill them first and then cut them. And the reason why is I want to reduce the possibility of blowout in the blank. So by doing it this way, there we go, I can drill down into this blank, and you can see I'm going to hit the depth I need to be at. As soon as the flag starts to clean the chips off the top of the blank, I know I'm at the right depth. You can see I cleaned that flag up a little bit using my original knife. This is the original hobby knife I made. And we are ready to head back to the drill press and drill our blank. I've checked up my 8mm bit, and I found the center of my blank. Just going to make sure we get the dimple of that bit right into the center, and we are ready to drill. As you're drilling, you'll feel the bit moving easily through the material. You'll all of a sudden start feeling a little bit of resistance. At that point, you want to get that bit out and clean the bit off. We also want to watch out for the bit to make sure it doesn't heat up, because it can cause the swarf here to heat up and swell inside the blank, which can melt the interior of your blank and enlarge the blank to where a tube will not fit properly inside the blank. What we're going to do now is I'm going to raise the blank onto the bit because we don't have enough travel to completely drill through this blank. There we go. And we got to be careful doing this because, okay, we have reached the end. I'm going to back off just a little bit. Let me lock her down. We're going to drill about a 1/2 of an inch, and then we're going to stop, and we're going to lower the table and clean the bit out. We can't get the bit out of the blank quickly like we could if we could just normally retract the bit, because we start inside the blank. You've got to be careful not to let that bit heat up inside of your blank. About a 1/2 inch, I can feel the resistance. And I'm going to lower the table. We'll have to twist this a little bit because it's already packed in there a little bit. There we are. And we should be in good shape. When we start getting this far into the blank, we really have to be careful because a little bit of chips can escape. But once we get up here onto the shaft of the bit, chips can't escape. So we're going to probably have to start drilling a 1/4 of an inch at a time as opposed to a 1/2, because we don't have enough room to take care of all of the chips that we're creating. And we made it all the way to the flag. Want to empty out any dust in the bottom of the blank. and we're ready to head to the bandsaw and cut this blank off. Here's our mark. Let's go ahead and get our blank cut. Not too bad. We did not drill all the way through, which means this side of the blank is in perfect shape. It'll make a great section for, say, an artisan or a bespoke pen. This right here is perfect because as we push our tube in, the tube will be filled with Play-Doh, so air needs to escape out the other end of the blank. This will let the air escape. The tube will stop as it hits the wall just inside of here. It's paper thin, I'm sure. And as we come back and we square our blank, we'll square that material away and we will have a perfect exit hole for our tube. I got the ends of this blank trued to the tube. I've got it on the bushings and I'm excited to turn it. We're going to start out turning with a skew. Now this type of material is Alumilite. It is very conducive to being turned with carbide, and I could do a really nice job with carbide, but I've been turning tonight and I've already got my skew out. I've got it nice and sharp and I just stropped it. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try on this blank. The blank is turning very nicely with the skew. It might look a little rough right now, but bear in mind, we are still in the truing phase, and we'll get it a little farther down, and then we'll start taking some much lighter cuts. But I noticed my tool was beginning to drag. That tells me that my tool is really dull. Now, knocking the edges off this blank probably beat the heck out of my tool edge. So I'm going to get it back over to the strop. We're going to re-strop it, sharpen it back up. We'll come back to the blank, and we'll finish getting this down to the proper diameter. I got the blank turned down to a really nice diameter. I'm super close at both of the bushings. That last little hair we'll take care of with the sandpaper. I'm happy with how the blank is looking. It is going to sand very nicely, and it's going to turn out to be a beautiful blank. This blank sanded so amazingly well, I can't believe it. I made my first pass and I could see a couple of deep spots. You get those darker spots, the divots in the blank. Second pass, they just about disappeared. Third pass, they were gone. It was amazing. The blank has a few very fine scratches left over from the 600 grit, but that's nothing that the micro mesh won't take out. So we're going to go ahead and micro mesh this blank, and I'll come back and show it to you when I'm done. And honestly, I think it's going to blow your mind even before I get to wax and buff it. I think this blank is going to be stunning. Was I right or was I right? Take a look at that blank. Micro mesh only, and it looks amazing. Let's get a little wax on it, and then we'll take it to the buffing wheels. This blank looks incredibly dark under this light. I hate that because you're really missing the chatoyance. I mean, it is brilliant. I'll try to get it under a little better lighting once I get it assembled into the kit so you can get a much better look at just how amazing the blank really is. This is a fairly easy kit to assemble. First thing I'm going to do is remove the blade. And then I'll go ahead and take this all the way out. I don't know if that little piece there it is. Just push that out. You don't want to crush this because that's what holds your blade. Now we have a flat surface to press against, and we can press this into the end of our blank. So we'll stick a bushing in one end, and we'll press that little piece into the other. I'm going to stop here. I don't know if you saw it or not, but as you're pressing that in, there are some little ribs in the piece that fits inside of the blank, and some little metal dust, I guess it's aluminum, was coming off of it. So I'm going to dust that off, and then I'll go ahead and press it the rest of the way into the blank. The reason why I wanted to dust this off is I don't want anything between this piece and my blank, because I want the best possible fit I can get when I put this together. Let's get the hobby knife put back together. We'll put the collet back in the front of the pin. Then we'll put this into the back of the pin. We'll just get it started. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down because I want to be able to get the blade put in there first. There we are. Now we'll snug it up. And there we go. We have a gorgeous knife. Let me get this light a little farther forward. I want you to be able, it's hard to see with the reflection there, but this is just a gorgeous blank. I am super pleased with this blank, and we'll put the cap on there before I cut myself. I really hope you enjoyed my video tonight. I certainly enjoyed turning this incredible hobby knife kit. I just love it, and the hot-blooded blank is fantastic. If you're not turning blanks from Bullseye Turning, and if you're not trying out their Apollo, their Artemis, and their hobby knife kits, you don't know what you're missing. I'm going to put a link with all of their information in the video description. Go check them out. And as always, I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon, and have a great evening.